This is Tim Staten with Tim Stating the Obvious. What is this podcast about? It's simple. You are entitled to great leadership everywhere you go, whether it's to church, whether it's to work, whether it's at your house, you are entitled to great leadership. And so in this podcast, we take leadership principles and theories and turn them into everyday, relatable, and usable advice.
And a quick disclaimer, this show, process, or service by trademark manufacturer, otherwise does not necessarily constitute an implied endorsement of anyone that I employed by or favors them in representation. The views are expressed here in my show are my own expressed and do not necessarily state or reflect those of any employer.
Hey, and welcome back to another episode of Tim Stating the Obvious. In the last episode, we talked about the second layer of our strategic triangle to build employee engagement, and that is through servant leadership, or as I like to call it, somebody cares about you. In this episode, we're going to build upon the past two episodes with the capstone of this series with investing into our people and helping them achieve personal growth and development. So recapping, in the first episode of the miniseries, we talked about establishing organizational trust and how important that is in the foundations of relationships we build with people. Then we talked about caring about people, servant leaders for our teams, and genuinely caring about our people. But none of that matters if we don't invest in helping the people we work with achieve success. I have always taken the stance that I want people to join my team so they can get promoted out of the job, and so I can get new people to help develop and bring them on board. I love seeing people achieve their goals and objectives and move on to bigger and better things. I want you to think about your work environment real quick. Have you recently talked to your people about the progress they're making? Where do they stand? Have you talked with people about opportunities for schools, professional certifications, or other educational benefits that your organization offers? Or maybe even a job opportunity or project that would help broaden somebody in their scope of work or in your career field. If not, I would urge you to do that. It pays to invest in your folks. I mean, think about it for a minute. What better way to show that your organization stands by its actions by hiring someone? What better way to show that your organization stands by its actions by hiring someone than developing them and eventually promoting them into higher and greater levels of responsibility and have everybody notice it? Then you spend less money looking for talent externally because you've cultivated that talent and the workforce that you need internally. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's going to be times where you're going to need and bring in fresh new blood that's needed because otherwise you get groupthink and you don't need that. But you definitely need enough talent and enough stability and continuity from within to develop up to the senior levels of management within your organization. So a LinkedIn study found that 94% of employees said they would stay longer with their employer if it invested in their development. Last year this time we were talking about the Great Resignation, and now, we just found out that, had employers invested in their employees, they would have stayed. Is it that simple? Not really. But it could be, because you're still going to have people who are going to want to quit because they didn't see the benefit of staying in the organization. You're going to see people who are always going to look for the next thing. They're going to be looking for the greener pastures and the better paying job, and that something else is going to get them ahead. So you're going to have those people, and that's probably about 8 to 10% of your workforce who will constantly be doing that. But for everybody else, the majority of the workforce, they're telling you that if you just invested in them, that they would stay because they feel like that they're getting invested in. They feel like that you care, right? And we talked about that in the last one. Investing in your people isn't just with money. It's education. It's job and project assignments that will further develop skills to build their resumes. It's mentorship and providing honest feedback and letting people know where they stand. A recent Gallup survey found that at least 70% of the variance in team engagement is explained by the quality of the manager or the team leader, meaning how engaged that team leader is with the team is relational to how engaged those people are. And additionally, some managers don't put enough emphasis on learning and development and allowing their people to take the time to do it. They're more focused on getting the task at hand done and meeting deadlines and timelines and key objectives instead of actually getting to know people. At least that's what this study found. A key aspect to employee growth and development is to get managers and team leaders to talk about the skill sets they need, right? So how can we fix that? Is we get them to talk about what skill set deficiencies are you noticing on your team? What skill sets do you need? And get them to talk about that because they know what they need. And then, have them pick people and say, hey, well, who on your team would you pick to send to this school or send to this course or go to get this skill that you need? Go get this certification. And then have those managers and those team leaders invest in their people and send them to the training. Those people who got picked are probably thinking, oh, wow, okay, you need this skill. You think that I'm capable of developing this skill. You're going to develop that in me. Heck yeah, I'll go. And then when I come back, I'm going to work even harder because you invested the time and energy into me. And now I have an additional skill set that I didn't have before. My resume is better. So if you do fire me because we go into a recession and you can't afford to keep me, at least I have another skill set I can put on my resume and possibly get another job. Thank you for investing in me and believing in my future. So try it out and see what happens. You may be shocked at the results that you get. And the last point I'm going to make here is that when people are given the opportunity to grow and develop into their full potential, they are more satisfied in the workplace. Whether they succeed or fail, at least they got the opportunity to grow and develop. And that is more than some places will ever give them. And they'll be grateful for that opportunity. And when employees have higher job satisfaction, they tend to have higher productivity and energy devoted to their work. Then that means a more productive and engaged employee means better consistency and better customer engagement with higher customer satisfaction rates, which then turns into higher profit margins, right? So if you can't take what we've talked about over the last 3 episodes and wrap your head around it just to take care of people, invest in people because they're people, and you need another reason, well, this is that reason. You can invest in your people and take the time to build the organizational trust. Take the time to get to know them and develop them so you can have higher profit margins in the end and have better job satisfaction. So if you couldn't do it just because you care about people, at least do it because you care about your wallet, right? I mean, think about it. Better consistency, better energy, better customer engagement, higher customer satisfaction rates, higher profits. It's that simple, right? So it benefits everyone. It benefits the organization and it benefits the individual because the individual knows that somebody cared about them. Somebody found that they were worthwhile in investing in. And I'll tell you, in today's society, not very many people find that somebody else thinks that they're worth investing in. And usually it's them telling themselves, I'm worth investing in, I'm good enough to be invested in, instead of saying, you know what? Other people need to invest in me and in getting that externally. So it's more of a internal to external. People need to invest in me versus external to internal, meaning, hey, I see something in you, I'm going to invest in you. And I think the world needs more of that. The business place needs more of that. And then we will be in a better place. I mean, so what do you have to lose by investing in your people? Really, the problem that you'll have is everybody is so good that you're going to be outperforming your competitors. The other option is you'll be performing so well and your competitors may try to take your people. But if you're not treating them right, they will leave. So treat them right and they will want to stay because they have job satisfaction. Employee engagement isn't just satisfaction in the job. It's a whole bunch of other things that we have talked about over the last 3 weeks. But if they have job satisfaction because, one, they know someone cares about them, they trust the organization that they work for, and now people are investing in them, and then they got a sense of pride and they got a sense of purpose that somebody, I am contributing to the team, and I'm contributing to myself, and I'm contributing to my family, and ultimately I'm going to be better for it in the end because this company and this organization is investing in me. They're going to be better. So you have nothing to lose. So this was a quick episode, and I kept it quick on purpose. because I want you to be able to digest it, go back to the other 2 episodes, and take a look at that and listen to them. And then, go on our social media platforms and kind of engage with the content we've been putting out there after you've thought about the podcast the last little bit. So as always, thank you for stopping by and listening to this episode, and I hope you enjoyed it. Before we go, though, I would like to ask a favor of you. If you could please share this episode with 1 or 2 people who you think might like this topic. If you haven't followed or subscribed on the platform you're listening to, then please hit the button and the alert icon so that way you know when we post another episode. I don't want to waste your time for you coming back and going, oh, is there a new one? We post it and try to post it every 2 weeks. But if you got some value out of this episode, please leave a review or a comment so we can help spread the show with other people who might be interested in the same topic but may not have stumbled upon our podcast yet. And that would greatly help this show. Again, thank you for stopping by, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm Tim Staten, stating the obvious.